the EVP of football operations for the Philadelphia Eagles, Howie Roseman. How are you, Howie?
I'm good, Rich. Thanks for having me. I think I've heard that voice from Tom Condon before.
Did it give you chills? What did it give you there, Howie?
Yeah, flashbacks.
There you go.
Total flashbacks.
I mean, he's got a voice for radio, that Tom Condon. I'll tell you that.
Doesn't he? He's got that deep baritone voice. He seems like he could be a great announcer. I want to talk to him about that, announcing our games. He can announce Sam when we introduce him for
I like that.
Cleveland in our opener.
I like that. Maybe Merrill Reese, could teach him a thing or two,
Merrill's a legend.
He is that.
Hey, how about this? How about this? I know you guys probably have things you want to talk about, but
Sure.
why should I, be holding to that?
Floor's yours.
How about the fact that, Rich, our first game at the link, you and I getting lost in the tunnel. Do you remember that?
I do. It was a big night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Big night. You go, hey, Howie, where do we go? And I go, I got you covered, man. And then all of a sudden we're like in the dungeons, like with the caterers.
Now that's when it goes dark on me, though. That I don't. Now after what happened after that?
That's when it goes dark.
What happened after that, Howie?
It's like It's like one of those stories that gets better in my mind every year. Maybe we went out like to a restaurant and missed the first half. Or
no
something.
one can ever take that away from us, Howie Roseman. Nobody.
I love it. I love it. What do we got?
Okay. Well, I mean, the whole Sam Bradford thing. Let's start with this. Did you, when you signed Sam Bradford, give an indication that you'd be bringing in other quarterbacks to the mix?
I think every single time that Coach or I have talked this offseason, we talked about drafting a young quarterback. We were pretty out front about that. Obviously, our travels were followed all over the internet about where we were and what we were doing. So we were pretty conspicuous about getting a young quarterback in here. Certainly when you're talking about starting the offseason, picking 13 with no 2, I'm not Nostradamus to think that we'd be able to get up to the second pick in the draft. I didn't have that indication. And when we signed Sam, we were still picking 13. So we didn't have all the information at that time, but needless to say, we wanted Sam Bradford on this team. We wanted to sign him, and that's why we went out and brought him back.
So, in other words, there may not have been any specific communication verbally, but there was writing on the wall that Bradford could have read. Did I get that right?
We don't tell anyone our plans about anything because we're trying to execute our moves. I don't know any team that does that just kind of comes out and just says, hey, we're going to take a left tackle in the first round and goes and does that. I don't know. That sounds kind of strange to me, and I think that's the nature of this business. It's whoever you draft in the first round, it's going to affect someone else. It's a competitive league. It's a competitive business. So we get it from his side too. It's business as well, and so he's got to do whatever he thinks is in his best interest. We're just glad he's back here, and as we start OTAs tomorrow, get started.
Howie Roseman, Eagles Executive Vice President of Football Operations, joining me here. So is it true that Denver did reach out to you as part of the aftermath of Bradford asking for a trade? Did that happen, Howie?
No, I'd hate to talk about anyone's business. We never kind of talk about trade discussions. I think the thing here is that we wanted to keep Sam. We want him as our starting quarterback. We're excited that he's back, and I think that someone said a long time ago to me, and I've used this line a couple of times, that some of the things that happen in April and May are, once you get into August and September, they're a thing of the past.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, that's what we were saying here on the show. That's not the royal we. It's me and my guys here, just so you understand. I haven't lost my mind here. That in our conversation, that if Bradford, scores first set of downs against Cleveland week 1, he's not being booed. People are going to be very, very happy about that. So he has the ability to ball out and succeed for you. The question is what happens then, Howie, if he does do that for your team and you've got Carson Wentz sitting there? How do you view that scenario potentially
rich man problems,
out?
Rich, and then not really intended when it came out, but
yes,
I see how that can be taken.
Yes.
What you got there is it's so hard to find this position. It's maybe the most important position in sports. So there would be nothing better than for him to play at an incredibly high level and have that issue, just like Green Bay had when they had drafted Aaron and they had Brett playing really well, or San Diego when they drafted Phillip Rivers and they had Drew Brees playing really well, or Kurt Warner with Matt Leinart. So we looked at all those situations. One thing we knew is that we need to have a high level of play from the quarterback position in the short term and in the long term in Philadelphia. That gives us our best chance to compete.
Well, let me ask you a couple more Bradford questions before moving on to Wentz here. Why do you think Bradford was so upset then by this? Because, I mean...
Well, I think that he also... I think Tom has said this publicly, so I'm not saying anything new here. He viewed there to be an opportunity somewhere that was good for him. And just like, as Tom said, we did what we felt was the right thing for our organization, not only for the short term and the long term, but he was trying to pick a great spot for him that would work out for him in the short term and long term. So understandable. That's why he hires Tom, who's obviously unbelievable at his job. And now I think we all just move forward.
Well, because, I mean, one of the first things you said in the press conference to announce that you got up to number 2 overall was Sam Bradford's our starter. So I'm wondering if you thought right then and there that you knew that this move might be viewed as a provocative act from his point of view.
That's why we took the preemptive strike of making sure we were clear about what was going on here, clear for not only him, but for our football team to understand who our starting quarterback was when we get out there and practice, who's working with the ones, and at the same time understanding that we got an obligation to this football team, to our city, to make sure that we look at the draft not only for the short term, but really for the long term. And it was a unique opportunity. And happy to go into it, kind of why we made the decision we did, and a lot of it's surrounded by the uniqueness that we think Carson Wentz brings to the table.
All right, let's get into that then. When did you fall in love with Carson Wentz? When did you first fall in love with this guy? Which you clearly had to do to get up to.
We had a chance. The game tape, obviously, in the fall was really good, and going down to Mobile, going down to the Senior Bowl, and getting a chance to see him throw live, which is such a big part of the process of evaluating quarterbacks, and then bringing him in and interviewing him at the Senior Bowl, and just seeing his intelligence, the intangibles he brings to the table, as well as the physical abilities. But again, sitting there at 13, understanding that he's going to go high in the draft, not really sure that was going to work, and happy with Sam as our starting quarterback. But as we got through the process and realized what a unique opportunity it was to be able to pick a quarterback that high, get the opportunity. We haven't picked a quarterback in the first round since 1999, where we obviously took Donovan. And then when you do sometimes have an opportunity to be in the top 10, we picked there when we picked Lane Johnson in 2013, and E.J. Manuel was the first quarterback in that draft. I think he went 16th. So you could be picking in the top 10, and there would be no quarterback that you're interested in. Or you could be in a situation like in 2012 where there are 2 quarterbacks, and the team at the front, the Colts, wasn't trading Andrew Luck for anything. And then team picking 2 trades from 2 to 4 for 3 1s and a 2. So you look at those scenarios and you say, well, you may be in a draft where you're close enough, but there's only one quarterback, and if you need one, the team's not willing to trade. Or the price gets even more expensive. And then the flip side of it, it seems to us like there's a little bit of a graying of the quarterback market in the National Football League, that there are a lot of great players at that position, and at some point probably going to be turnover. And so how many teams will actually you be competing with to get one of these guys?
Howie Roseman joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. After you acquired the number 2 overall pick, did your phone ring for people who thought maybe you would flip it? Did that happen?
It didn't. I think we were very clear at the outset, and again, just trying to be transparent that we trade up to 2 to take quarterback, and that's what we were going to do. And I think the Rams were pretty transparent about their intentions too. So,
they were in terms of taking a quarterback. But was there any part of you that just thought maybe they take Wentz and you got Goff? Did that happen at all, Howie?
Yeah, and for us, we had to be comfortable with both guys, and we were. Jared Goff's going to be a heck of a player, and I know how excited the Rams are for him to be able to get him. And so you have to go through those scenarios because you're not picking first, and you don't have the right to choose when you're picking 2. That's what they had the right to do. So I think that you go there now. You feel fairly confident in what you think is going to happen, but you better be ready for that right hook, because otherwise you'll be dropped, right?
Oh, well, are you like Batista? Did you just go a baseball reference on me?
Yeah,
right
but
there?
you know what? It was in my mind a little bit.
We've all seen it. We've all seen it. So how are things with Sam now, though? Howie, is it awkward? Is it professional? How would you term this reunion?
He's professional. He's always been professional. He's a class act, and I think that we're all here internally have moved on, and it's pretty calm. It's a little bit, I'd even want to say, quiet inside our facility.
No,
after
come on.
our rookie camp.
We could do something about that in the next minute, Howie. Before I let you go, you want to just shake it up? What do you want to do?
No, I've been part of Shake It Up. I'm kind of looking forward to the quiet moment right here.
Hey, now look, Howie. I mean, you did use some of Chip's players, right, to go get up to 8. I mean, so there was some groceries that you used to get all the way up to 2, right, Howie? Am I not right?
Oh, for sure. We couldn't have done this without the first part of it. We couldn't have gotten from 13 to 2. And when you look at the Dolphins, they got 2 starters. And one a corner who's been a starter in 2 Super Bowls in a row, and a guy who was the Defensive Rookie of the Year. So this did not come cheap. We understand that, and certainly when you pull the trigger, you don't take that lightly.
See, we're both from Brooklyn, man. You weren't just born yesterday. I gave you a shot to maybe take a shot at Chip where we could have had something to shake it up in the last minute. You went high class on me, Howie. You went high class on me. Well done.
I got you covered, man. I got you covered. You're trying to get me like under the cover of darkness.
No.
I'm up.
Never.
I'm not pulling for you.
You're a good man, Howie. Thanks for calling in. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day.
You bet. That's Howie Roseman.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.